USA. It's Titletown, it's Green Bay. Back to town, matter hey. Sacrifice the price we pay. Never back down, ain't no way. Champions in every way. Leaders aren't born, they are made. Fight for greatness every day. It's Titletown, USA. Go Pack, go! 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 Go Pack, go!
What's going on, guys? It's Ryan with the Packers Hub, and today we're going to be bringing you episode 2 of the podcast. Going to be going over some of the pre-draft meetings on players that we're bringing in, who should be the pick at 14. I'll play with a couple different scenarios, a couple different players we'll go over some of the availability of some of the players that are going to be there. Trevor Davis got arrested. We'll talk about that. And the Packers are taking the playbook back to day 1. So we'll talk about all of that during this episode. And yeah, let's get right into it. So Packers pre-draft meetings. So far we know they've brought in Jack Sitchie, Derwin James, Vita Vea, Tremaine Edmunds, Dante Jackson, Mike Hughes, and then Austin Ramish, fullback from Wisconsin. That is just like a classic Packers pre-draft meeting. And but I mean, it's funny that I say that. I say Austin Ramish is a classic Packers pre-draft meeting, but this pre-draft meeting process has been anything but ordinary for the Packers. Bringing in Derwin James, Vita Vea, Tremaine Edmunds, guys like Mike Hughes and Dante Jackson, and those are all round 1 or early round 2 players. I mean, we never used to do stuff like that. We never brought guys in like that. I mean, we probably brought in Mike Hughes because of his off-the-field stuff, trying to gather a little bit more information on that. I mean, he's a damn good player. Probably like him as a player, too. And then a guy like Jack Sitchie, we probably bring in to go over the medical aspect of it. Because, I mean, all right, let's start off talking about Jack Sitchie. Jack Sitchie was a dog. So I'm a big Ohio State football fan. I watched Jack Sitchie terrorize us a couple years ago when he was healthy. He's a badass. Some people were talking about him being a round 1 caliber middle linebacker prospect. So then we all know the story. He gets hurt. Now he's being projected to be round 4 or 5, shit like that. This guy's still a badass. If he bounces back from the injury, I mean, you have a premier player at middle linebacker. I mean, I think of another Wisconsin middle linebacker. What was his name? Chris Borland. That guy was a badass. Sitchie has a lot of those same characteristics. Former walk-on guy. He knows the meaning of hard work. I mean, this guy's just going to give you everything that he's got. So I would really like if the Packers picked him round 4, round 5. I mean, we got 2 round 4 picks. Why not spend, the second one on Sitchie? Why not? Take a shot. So NFL talent evaluators always say that after round 3, you're just it's monkeys throwing darts at a board. So why not just take a gamble on a guy, especially a guy with high upside? Derwin James we also brought in. He's one of my. I have like 3 or 4 guys in my head that if they were at 14, then we definitely have to take them. Those guys are Derwin James, Minka, Tremaine Edmunds, and Denzel Ward. And then Harold Landry. So like 5 guys. But then I also like Roquan Smith too. There's a lot of factors that are going to be playing into it. But those guys are there. We without a doubt, you throw in the pick and then it's over with. I mean, the likelihood of them all being there, no. But one of them is going to be there. And you got to just sprint to the podium because those are guys that could all transform our defense right away. Derwin James, huge, hulking motherfucker, 6'3", 215, runs a 4.4 40. I mean, this guy is just, he's everything that you want. I mean, some people are saying Sean Taylor. He's not Sean Taylor. I mean, Sean Taylor is Sean Taylor. One of the best safeties, could have been one of the best safeties to ever play the game. Had he had a longer career, R.I.P. But Derwin James, let's call him Sean Taylor light. I mean, this guy's a badass. He's going to punch you in the mouth. He can make plays on the ball. Can he play corner? He's got the athleticism, but his best position is at strong safety. That's where we need him. Like I said in the last podcast, I'm iffy about Josh Jones. I don't like his instincts. I said that in my film review on YouTube. So, yeah, I think bringing in Derwin James would... I've always said that the Packers need more swag. We need, like, a guy that's just he has that presence to him. And Derwin James has that. He has that confidence, maybe borderline cockiness. He just has that attitude, that Jalen Ramsey attitude. Where it's just like, fuck you. I'm going to beat your ass. He looks in the guy across from him on the first play and says, I'm going to fuck you up all day. That's the kind of guy we need on defense. I would love Derwin James to the Packers. That would be awesome. On the flip side, Vita Vea. Why would we pick Vita Vea? And we brought him in for a pre-draft visit, so we obviously have a lot of interest. All right, we have Kenny Clark that is a total badass. And when his deal is up, we definitely got to pay the guy. The guy's an animal. You saw it last season. He was... I don't even think he got pushed back 1 inch the entire season. He was fucking dudes up. He even started developing some of that pass rush skill later in the season. We're already paying Mike Daniels 4 years, $40 million. And then we just signed Muhammad Wilkerson, where if he plays really well this year, which I expect he will be under Mike Pettin, who he played for before and had his best season with, I expect Muhammad Wilkerson to play really well. Wouldn't we want to keep him? So we're going to have all this money invested in the D-line, and we're pretty young there. Muhammad Wilkerson is under 30. Kenny Clark is like 21 or 22. I mean, this guy is crazy young. And Mike Daniels is still under 30. And he's only 1 year into his new contract. He's going into his second year of his contract. So we have youth on the D-line, and we have money invested in the D-line. Why are we going to bring in Vita Vea? Now, I get it. If he's the best player on their board, let me be honest. I mean, the guy is like 350 pounds, ran like a 5.1 40. That's so impressive. 350 pounds almost runs a 5. And his tape, pretty impressive too. He's throwing guys to the side, very strong, doesn't get pushed back. He bullies guys. He does. He's a damn good prospect. But we need to allocate resources to where the problem areas are. We need corners. We need, in my opinion, a strong safety that we know is going to be a badass. We need a guard. We need another wide receiver. Why would we be... We're solidifying our strongest point, one of our strongest points on our team. Why? And I understand injuries could change the whole thing. Kenny Clark goes down, God forbid. Kenny goes down, maybe Mike goes down, or maybe Muhammad. You know, 1 or 2 of those guys go down, and then we're caught with our pants down. I mean, but Dean Lowry, and we still have Montravius Adams. We don't know what he can bring to the table yet. And we have Dean Lowry. We have depth at D-line. I just really don't understand if we were to pick Vita Vea. I wouldn't understand that pick. When we have so many pressing needs corner, safety, maybe even a top-tier linebacker would be dope, since we never got one under Ted. So I wouldn't understand bringing in Vita Vea. Talking about top-tier linebacker prospects, though, brought in Tremaine Edmunds. That's fucking awesome. I think I talked about it in the last podcast. Tremaine Edmunds is... He reminds me so much of Anthony Barr. And I loved Barr coming out of UCLA. Now, Anthony Barr is an asshole now, and we all hate him. I mean, but you can't deny that the guy's a good player. And Tremaine Edmunds is basically Anthony Barr. He's got the instincts. He's got all the athleticism in the world. I mean, this guy just flies. And he's so big. He's 6'4", 250 pounds. He's running a 4.5 40. He's so rangy, and he's damn good in coverage because of his speed and his length, his height. I mean, this guy would just be such a badass, I feel like. And especially, like, another guy that just has, like, the swag to him. It's just like, you know what you're going to get with Tremaine. He's going to bust his ass. He's going to be just fucking flying around out there. It would be awesome. We need a tone setter on the defense, and I think Tremaine or Derwin would definitely be that guy. So then we move on, and we brought in Dante Jackson and Mike Hughes. Which one would I rather have? Mike Hughes. But then we also, like I mentioned earlier, we also got to talk about his off the field, what happened there, because he was at, North Carolina, and he transferred out of there. Something happened. I don't really know what happened, but he transferred out of there, came to UCF and lit it up. And this guy's a dynamic punt returner. We could use him there. I mean, I've been screaming about we need a dynamic returner for the longest time. So I think we could get that with Dante Pettis, by the way. Day 3. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, Dante Jackson, really good nickel guy. I was thinking about this, like, we need a nickel. A nickel corner. We need a slot corner. So, we already got Tremaine and Kevin Kane on the outside, which, I mean, you guys know how I feel about Kevin Kane. Don't trust the guy. But, Packers fan first, Kevin Kane hater second. I mean, I wish Kevin Kane the best. I want him to be an all-pro. I hope I'm wrong about him. I want him to be a badass because I want the Packers to be good. I mean, let's be honest here. So, if we're going to look at it right now, and here's my theory here. Look at who we brought in so far. Derwin James, Vita Vea, Tremaine Edmunds. These are guys that are all projected to go right around where we pick. But then, look at the secondary players that we brought in. Dante Jackson, Mike Hughes. Where are those guys projected to go? Second round, early second round, maybe even late first. So, I think that's telling us something right there. We're not looking at corner. So far, we haven't brought in Denzel Ward. We haven't brought in Josh Jackson. We haven't brought in, another top-tier guy right there. We've brought in 2 guys that are projected to go early second round. So, to me, it looks like we're thinking about going Tremaine Edmunds, Derwin James. Maybe if Minka slips, we go for Minka. I think it's really interesting. And you know what? I think it would be a goddamn good pick to get Dante Jackson or Mike Hughes in the second round. Because we need a slot guy. We need a slot corner. Tremaine's going to be playing outside. Or you could argue Tremaine could play slot. I mean, that's not where he doesn't have... Tremaine's still plenty fast. And that's, a credit to him. He's 34 or 35. But, I mean, he's still got, some of his speed that he's had. And he's that age. So, credit to Tremaine. But, I mean, he doesn't really have that quickness for a slot guy. You want to talk about quickness, you talk about Dante Jackson. Dante Jackson ran a sub 7.3 cone. He ran a 4.3 40. I mean, this guy, explosive, fast, quick. He would be a perfect slot guy. So you throw Tremaine on the outside. You got Kevin Kane also on the outside. And in today's NFL, slot guys are starters. So don't think to yourself, oh, we just picked Dante Jackson and then it's over with. Because he's going to be sitting on the bench, only coming in sub packages. Sub packages are the normal for NFL defenses now. The Packers are in a sub package 70 or 80% of the time. All right, well, that was with Dom Capers, but I don't expect it to change much with Mike Pettin because that's how defenses are in the NFL today. It's a sub package league. Everybody's doing it. So Dante Jackson would be a starter, is my point. Same with Mike Hughes. If either of them were to play in the slot, now Mike might be better suited to play outside, but he can play inside while we have Tremaine. And maybe he beats out Kevin Kane for an outside job. I don't know. We just need to bring in competition at corner. We just need to bring in, I think we need to draft 2-3 guys at corner in the draft because we just need competition. We need a shitload of competition. Competition breeds success. Bring in some top-tier athletes. Let them compete. And we'll get the best that we can for our defensive backfield. All right, moving on. Who should be the pick at 14? Well, as I said earlier, it depends on who's there. But I think it's probably Harold Landry. I think Harold Landry should be the guy. I think he's Vic Beasley. He's got insane bend. He's a great athlete. I mean, this guy is a pass rusher. And here's my reasoning. Like I said, I wanted Minka, Derwin, maybe even Denzel Ward, but I don't think those guys are going to be there. Those are all, top 10 guys. But since all these quarterbacks are probably going to go, and I think there's an outside chance someone's going to try and grab Lamar Jackson before the Packers pick because all these quarterbacks are going to be running off the board. These quarterback-needy teams are going to be like, shit, oh, fuck, we need a quarterback right away. And then someone's going to be dumb. Someone's going to trade up and get Lamar Jackson. Now, do I think Lamar Jackson's a bad prospect? No, I don't. I mean, guys who can – I know the accuracy. He doesn't have the accuracy right now. Completion percentage, very poor. But this guy can move. He can scramble. I mean, guys who are like that, especially in the red zone, are invaluable. He could be a nice threat at quarterback. Will he ever be hanging up like 30, 40 touchdown seasons? No, probably not. But the guy can move. And he's really slippery. I mean, on a quarterback draw, even if the linebacker's spying you, even if a guy like Tremaine Edmunds is spying Lamar Jackson on a quarterback draw, it would be one hell of a play if Tremaine Edmunds can square up Lamar Jackson and bring him down. Lamar Jackson is so slippery. He's so elusive. I mean, having a one-on-one guy, I mean, the edge almost always goes to Lamar Jackson, no matter how athletic the linebacker is. So, I digress. Someone's probably going to try and trade up to get Lamar Jackson because all the quarterbacks are going to go very early. Just a report came out. The Broncos are definitely going to take Baker Mayfield if he's there at 5. Cleveland's definitely probably going to go Josh Allen or Darnold. Someone's going to trade up for Allen. Or if there was a report that if the Browns take Allen, the Giants are definitely taking Darnold. And then you have the Jets right there, and they probably go Josh Rosen. And then at 4, Cleveland's probably going to take Saquon or Bradley Chubb, which I think they should take Bradley Chubb. Myles Garrett and Bradley Chubb screaming off the edge. Holy fuck. That's awesome. But And then at 5, you got the Broncos, which if the report holds up, they're taking Baker. And then Buffalo really wants a quarterback. The Dolphins really want a quarterback. Either of those two might take Lamar Jackson. Maybe you have a situation where the Arizona Cardinals want to trade up. I mean, they got Sam Glassbones Bradford signed to a new deal. Maybe they don't feel comfortable. Maybe they don't think he can go the distance for the whole season. So maybe they trade up and get Lamar Jackson. I think someone's taking Lamar Jackson before the Packers. That's 5 quarterbacks off the board. Look at all the premier talent. I feel like Paulie from The Sopranos. Look at all the premier talent, man. But we have all these guys just falling to us. I mean, Jesus Christ. But that's the thing. There's probably going to be a run on them. So after the quarterbacks go, I mean, then you just got Derwin, Tremaine, Roquan, Denzel, all these guys just flying on. There's going to be a run on those guys right before we pick, and that sucks ass, especially Washington. Washington has a ton of needs that we have. So, they're probably going to take a guy that we really like the pick before us. And I don't like trading up at this point in the draft. We'll just let the best talent fall to us where we are. And there's probably going to be a goddamn good talent. I mean, so imagine a situation where, Derwin James and Minka are on the board at 13. So then let's say Washington picks one of those guys. Well, then the other one falls right to us. I think we're at a good spot. We stay where we are, and we just pick the best available player, basically, which is undoubtedly going to be, Tremaine, Edmunds, Roquan. But here's my thinking. I got to stay on track here. My mind just goes everywhere. But we take Harold Landry. This guy, like I said, elite bend, incredible athlete. He's just a dog. And his stock's slipping a little bit, people are saying, because of his year last year. Oh, it wasn't like 2016. Oh, dude, get the fuck out of here. He's coming off an injury. He was working his way back. Towards the end of last year, you start seeing that 2016 form. I mean, come on. Harold Landry's a badass. He was playing hurt. You saw it on film. This guy is just, he's fucking incredible. I want Harold Landry on my football team. And here's my reasoning. Why should we go Harold Landry first? If Derwin James, if those guys aren't there, then we go Harold Landry. But, secondary comes first. And Harold Landry is a little bit of a luxury pick, but not really. He's basically a starter if we pick him. Because Nick Perry and Clay Matthews, they're going to get hurt. We know they're going to get hurt. So Harold Landry's basically going to be a starter when those guys aren't in, or even when they're healthy, if he really establishes himself. So, but he's a little bit of a luxury pick because, we still have Clay, we still have Nick, and then we had Vince Beagle from last year, who I think could develop into something. He could be something for us, but, we have those guys already, so he's a little bit of a luxury pick. Do we absolutely need edge round 1? No, but it's probably the smart thing to do, because are there good edge players after round 1? Yeah. Are there Harold Landry, Bradley Chubb type dudes after round 1? Fuck no. And there was a whole article written by Justice Mosqueda that edge rushers are quarterbacks. You want a good one, you got to get one early. Usually those guys picked in the later rounds, they could be serviceable. They could be admirable. Some of them even develop into damn good Pro Bowl players. But that's rare, man. How many later than round 1 quarterbacks? Oh, we already know people are going to be saying Tom Brady. But it's like, how? That's the exception, not the rule. You want a badass, you get him round 1. there was a breakdown. Someone did a breakdown of all of like Pro Bowl edge rushers. Where were they taken? It's like a higher percentage of Pro Bowl edge rushers were taken like earlier than like Pro Bowl quarterbacks or some shit like that. I mean, dude, we got to go edge rusher early, and it's got to be Harold Landry because he's just a badass. You watch the film, get back to me, you'll come to the same conclusion. If Minka, Derwin, Denzel, game changers in the defensive backfield aren't there, because first things first, dude, we need some goddamn corners. We need some secondary because we keep getting rid of all these guys. Micah Hyde turned into a badass. Casey Hayward turned into a badass. Now watch, Demarius Randall's going to turn into a badass. We're going to look like idiots again. So we need to address the secondary. But if those guys aren't there, then we go Harold Landry. And hear me out. You can get corners, wide receivers, linebackers, shit like that. You can get them in the later rounds and still have them turn out to be badasses. I mentioned Dante Jackson and Mike Hughes. Two guys we can get in round 2 that would be an instant upgrade at corner. And we could even go with a guy like MJ Stewart. Another guy that I like, maybe like round 4, round 5-ish, Christian Campbell from Penn State. I think MJ Stewart's a complete badass. I will imagine this scenario. Let me paint this picture for you. We get Harold Landry round 1. Round 2, we go DJ Moore, wide receiver from Maryland. Total badass. Watch this film, get back to me, you'll come to the same conclusion. Then round 3, we go MJ Stewart. We got our pass rusher. We got a badass corner in round 3. And then we also got another wide receiver now that Jordy's gone in round 2. And round 2 is our bread and butter for wide receivers. And I think we met with DJ Moore at the Combine, I'm pretty sure. So I think that scenario is very favorable to us. Now, let's examine another scenario. Maybe we go Denzel Ward. And then round 2, we go Jesse Bates, safety from Wake Forest. That would be dirty. And then round 3, maybe maybe a guy like Braden Smith from Auburn, the guard. That would be dirty. A lot of guys like Braden Smith. He's a he's a mean motherfucker in the middle of the offensive line. So, I mean, that would also be, we need a guard. That's another thing we need to talk about. We need a guard. I mean, Justin McCray played admirably, but dude, we need a guard. And if we could get like Billy Price in the second round, that would be so badass. But then it really becomes, and that's where I struggle, is how are we going to order these guys? Like, ordering the positions of need is going to be so tough because we need corners. I think we need a safety. We need linebacker depth. We need a guard. Might even need a tackle. I don't know about that. I think we might ride it out with Bulaga, which Bulaga's one of the best goddamn right tackles in the league when he's healthy. But that's when he's healthy. Now, are we really going to turn over the reins to Jason Spriggs, Kyle Murphy? That's tough. But I don't know. That's another thing. This is what I wanted to talk about. Mike McGlinchey, round 1. Why the fuck? Why would we do that? That makes no sense to me. That's another like Vita Vea thing. We have Brian Bulaga. He's coming back. All signs are good. He's working out in Florida, the doctors are saying. He's working out. He's doing well. He's going to be there for OTAs, for off-season workouts. He's fine. And then we're going to give up on Jason Spriggs already? We're just going to wash our hands with that? No, I don't think the Packers aren't. I feel like they're not going to do that. There's not a chance in hell. We have Bulaga and we still have Spriggs. Two guys that, we have a lot invested in Bulaga in terms of years and money. And we also have a former second-round pick that we traded up to get. And we're just going to wash our hands with this guy already and pick Mike McGlinchey? No. I feel like people just look at like outside analysts that like don't think too much about the team. They look and be like, oh yeah, they could use a right tackle. It's just like, all right, well, you're completely throwing out the fact that we traded up to get Jason Spriggs a couple of years ago. It doesn't make sense to me, man. It does not make sense to get Mike McGlinchey. Say what you want about Spriggs. I thought he played decent towards the end of last year. He was really coming into his own. Now, hopefully he keeps developing and is even better than last year. But Mike McGlinchey, I think that's a mistake, man. I think that's a mistake at 14. Another guy, Josh Jackson at 14. I wouldn't hate it. I really wouldn't. People are now starting to drop him down the board because he had a bad combine workout. Oh my God. I'm so sick of that being the death sentence for some of these guys. Now, if Josh Jackson went out there and ran like a 4.8, all right, I understand that then. But the guy ran a 4.56 or a 4.54, some shit like that. What the fuck ever, dude? Did you watch his tape? He was a badass. He was a baller. He was picking off passes every fucking where. Look at the Ohio State game. Now, granted, J.T. Barrett is not the best quarterback. I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you that. But, I mean, Josh Jackson was out there balling, one-handed interceptions. He was taking shit back to the house. Oh, my God, dude. Watch Josh Jackson get back to me. You'll say, oh, yeah, I'd take him at round 1. Me too. So, Josh Jackson, I wouldn't hate it. But I think Harold Landry, to wrap this little segment up here that I'm doing, we should take Harold Landry at 14, permitting or acknowledging that Minka, Derwin, Denzel aren't there, or Tremaine, or one of those four. If they're not there, Harold's the guy. Now, moving on. Trevor Davis got arrested. Why, you ask? He made a bomb joke. What the fuck are you doing, dude, at an airport? Him and his girlfriend, or his wife, I don't know if they're married or not, but let's say girlfriend. Him and his girlfriend are at the airport going through TSA, and they're like, do you have any aerosol cans or explosives or weapons or anything? And, Davis looks back at his girlfriend and says, did you remember to pack the bombs? Or some stupid shit like that. And they're just like, all right, buddy, you're arrested. And they fucking took him in, booked him, and I guess he's released now. But just a dumbass thing to do. Do I think it's going to get him cut? No. I mean, it was just... I saw Pro Football Weekly, I think it was, the account. They tweeted out, like, Trevor Davis tries his hand at comedy in front of a tough crowd. It's just like, it was a dumb-ass joke. It was a dumb-ass joke. And he shouldn't have said it, but, it is what it is. Do I think it's going to get him cut? No. Do I think he could be cut in training camp? Maybe. He really hasn't shown us shit as a wide receiver. So, we'll see what happens with that. I mean, I was really hoping that he could have been good for us. I thought he could have been, but so far he hasn't shown us shit. Maybe this little embarrassment pushes him to go a little harder in training camp. But, just a dumbass thing to say. Not much more that needs to be said on that topic. Now, here's something that I love. The Packers taking the playback back to day one. Mike McCarthy's words, not mine. Yes, dude, finally. I feel like we've been using the same outdated concepts for the longest time. And, there's so many people that criticize the lack of creativity in the Packers offense. And it feels like now Mike McCarthy is finally like, all right, yeah, we probably should change shit up. And that's just awesome to me. And I talked about this in the last podcast. Last time we had a record-setting offense was when Joe Philbin was there. Joe Philbin's back, and people are saying that Joe Philbin calls Mike McCarthy out. He tells him that he's wrong. He's a strong figure in that offensive meeting room. They'll be watching film, and Mike McCarthy's like, oh, we need to do this in this situation. And then Joe will be like, you know what, Mike, I think you're wrong. Like, respect. He's not an asshole about it, but he's just like, I think we should use this concept in this situation, or we should run this play in the red zone, or whatever the fuck it is. So I think Joe Philbin's coming in. He's working with Mike McCarthy. I think they're gonna make a badass playbook. I like how they're starting from scratch. They were using outdated concepts for the past couple of years. I mean, the concepts worked, and now, what else can I fucking say? The concepts don't fucking work anymore. Obviously. I mean, the offense, we have Aaron Rodgers, and he masks all the fucking concepts that don't work. So when you have a quarterback like that, I mean, he can mask just about anything. But imagine giving him concepts like Matt Ryan was getting in Atlanta when he won MVP. I mean, imagine giving Aaron Rodgers like those kinds of plays. Oh my fucking God, I don't even want to know what would happen. Oh, actually, I do know what would happen. He would throw for over 4,000 yards, 46 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and like a 65% completion percentage. You know how I know that? Because I watched it in 2011. Give Aaron Rodgers those concepts, everything will be hunky-dory. So, yeah, guys, I think that's about it. I think it's not an hour like it was last time, but I think that's all I got for you today. I mean, it's the off season, it's draft season. There's not a whole lot of Packers news coming out besides who we're meeting with, or maybe little tidbits that we get here and there. But I mean, there's not a whole lot going on right now. So, some shit that you guys should be on the lookout for. Article ideas. I'm thinking about doing who should start at running back, who should start at who should be our third wide receiver. Some video ideas that I've got. Players the Packers should avoid at 14. Last year I did players the Packers should avoid in each of the first 3 rounds, and TJ Watt was one of them. So, but to be fair, I said he was good. I just thought it was a little rich to be taking him where we were, which now it's looking like I was dead wrong. Probably should have taken him. Someone probably should have taken him earlier than where we were, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna do players the Packers should avoid at 14. And what order should we address the positions? I'm going to think that one through. I'm going to come up with the best order that I can, and I'll make that a video for you guys. So, yeah, guys, that's all I got for today. I'll try and make another podcast again next Monday, because the days I have off work are Sunday and Monday. So, that's when I can do this shit and get this shit done. So, I'll talk to you guys next time. Go Pack Go.